All right.
This is From the Big House to the Penthouse podcast. Stories of addiction and recovery. The lie is dead. We do recover.
I'm gonna bring my guitar, man. I swear to God,
Bro,
I'm gonna bring my guitar.
I swear to
one day.
God, you say that every time.
I'm gonna bring my guitar, man.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of From the Big House to the Penthouse.
What's up,
Stories of addiction and recovery. As always, your host is Ricky Cruz.
and my co-host Raul Moreno. Hey,
Ricky.
man, what's up?
What's
man?
going on, brother?
Shoot, man. Hey, were we here last week?
Yeah, we were.
We
here last
were.
week. Uh-huh.
No, I wasn't. Was
yeah,
I?
Yeah, you were.
We did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were here.
What'd you do this weekend?
Man, what did I do? I went to. I did a lot actually.
Did you really?
Yeah,
You get out of the house actually?
Well, this time,
Yeah.
I get out for veteran events when there's veteran events going on.
Yeah.
There was one on Saturday, and then I went to a crawfish boil on Sunday, and I spoke yesterday.
That's right. Yeah,
Man,
a
so-
big deal, man. Yesterday I heard.
it was
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's still surreal to, I graduated from that program a few months back, and they want me as the guest speaker. I'm like, man, what am I
Man,
gonna?
that's what a privilege, dude, and an
Yeah.
honor, man. To go in handcuffs and come out applause.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
the truth. I
right?
couldn't. Yeah. It went well though. Everything went well.
Nervous? Were you nervous?
I was nervous as shit.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, like I said in the speech, I wasn't nervous about the politicians in the room. I wasn't nervous about the judges in the room.
Uh-huh.
I was nervous about the other veterans in the room because
Really?
I wanted to say something that had an impact on them.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I was nervous.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't give a shit about anything else. It was
Oh.
just that. And,
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but it went well, man.
Yeah,
feel
I bet.
like-
I'm sure it did.
yeah.
Yeah. I bet you felt accomplished afterward.
I
Like a
did.
sense of
And,
whatever.
People kept coming up to me saying that it was very, inspiring, and
Uh-huh.
that, me, I was all,
Yeah.
no, it wouldn't.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. So, hey, man, what did I do this weekend?
What did you do?
What did I do this? You know what? I went. I actually Saturday I did nothing to watch Netflix, man. After I came home, I went home from work. Yeah,
For real?
Yeah. It's Saturday evening. I was like, you know what, man? I'm not gonna sit on the freaking couch tonight, Saturday night. I had planned it all in my head. I'm gonna get me this. I'm gonna put together this outfit, man. I'm gonna go down to Sambuca's, or I'm gonna go to the Hard Rock Cafe, and I just hang out because Lisa doesn't want to go, man.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go there and just chill by myself, man. Have me a Beyond Burger with fries, you know what I mean, and just watch people watch, man. I like the people watch when I go someplace. I do. I like to look at people and talk to them. These things are crazy, man, but I really like that. So, but I thought all that, but I didn't do shit. I ended up staying home, and then
What does Ricky Cruz watch on Netflix, bro?
man, I've been watching the Tinder. What's it called? The Tinder Swindler. Yeah,
I
that
was
was
gonna
a
say,
Tinder Swindler, man. And I envy him, man. Yeah, he messed over a bunch of chicks with money.
Oh,
I envy him. I don't envy him, but it's a good show, man.
I'm about to check it out.
And right before that, I was watching Ozark,
Ozark,
and then Exploring Anna, or what's it called? The Anna something story. It's a true story about this chick that she messed over these people, like she was a what do you call it? A rich what do you call it? Heiress to
heiress,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something Anna, Exploring Anna or something Anna. But that was the first one I
Yeah.
so yeah, I've been Netflixing. And just eating, man. That's what I just told you, man. I kind of quit snacking, man. I'm back on my diet again. But and then Sunday morning, Lisa and I, we used to live in that downtown life. We have that little apartment up there. we started going on little walks in the morning all over downtown. We went to the Toyota Center. From there, we walked to Phoenicia, picked up some groceries. We walked, got groceries, carried them back, and then just walked, through downtown, and then came back and had brunch, and that was our Sunday. Yeah, the rest of it came out about the shop. It was fun.
Man,
yeah. It's just something different, man. That we're doing, exploring things, And then of course, we argued part of the way, and I left her like in the park, and and stuff like I left her in the park.
Oh,
I felt bad about that part. But listen, man, on to happier things, man. We have a special guest, Raul. We have one of my dear friends, Candace, man. She's joining us today. I'm very thrilled to have her. She accepted our invitation, and I'm very happy about that, man. I think she brings something very special to recovery.
Yeah.
She's been doing this deal for a while, like me. So Candace, introduce yourself, please. Would you? Will you do us an honor introducing yourself?
My name is Candace, and I'm an addict.
No shit.
Yeah.
Was I supposed to applaud there?
Yeah, the applause. Yeah, there you go. And she's been doing this deal for a while. Candace, so how long have you been doing this deal, man?
On and off for about 9 years.
Pull up a little bit, darling. There you go. All right.
On and off for about 9 years. Yeah.
On and off. When you say that, what does that mean?
So I've relapsed a few times.
You've relapsed?
Yeah.
A few times. When you say a few times, how many is that?
5.
5. Oh, okay. Right. So you've got me beat on that one. I think you've got probably you got me one up by one. I think I've relapsed like 4 times. But you know what the beauty about that is, Candace, is that we keep coming back, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is the key. I used to, in the beginning of my recovery, that when they used to say, these older people or the older timers used to say, well, is relapse, is it part of recovery? When I first came into this deal, or when I was really new, I was like, no, relapse isn't part. If you relapsed, you're ungrateful and you don't all this shit, right? And as a couple of years went by and time went by, and I understood the program a little more, I think now I changed my mind that I think relapse for me, and I speak from, in this program, we speak about ourselves, right? Our experiences.
Right.
For me, putting together what I put together within this small amount of time, and then losing it again, right? And from the first time and then the second time, and going, man, if I put this together again and do this again and put it longer, it seems like those times get longer and longer and longer, and fight till we get it. So, but the key is to keep coming back. They say that for a reason. So I just want to say my part about, relapse is kind of important part of recovery, but when it's really important is that when we bounce back, we come back. Yeah. You can't save, what do they say, Candace? You can't save what or what? You can't save your ass and your face at the same time.
You told me that today.
I truly believe it. So go ahead, man. Tell us about that. Tell us your story. Tell us how it began.
So I think I've been an addict my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
From just the way I acted, the way I obsessed about everything and anything in my life, especially relationships from a really young age. I started that, and it wasn't until, my marriage failed when I was in my 20s that, my addiction really gained momentum. And it came into drugs and using drugs and things like that. But really, I can remember being young and being obsessed about TV or being obsessed about food, or when I was working out, I'd get obsessed about that. Just anything that I could wrap my hands around and kind of just hold on to it tight, I did.
That's an addict's mind, though,
yeah.
Isn't it? I think that what you said right there describes all of us. And a lot of times it's either God willing, is something good that we obsess over, and not the bad. It's yeah.
So so early on, when did you first, in the beginning, did you start saying, man, I'm different than most folks? What when you were started to think back, what was the furthest that when you first started thinking, man, why am I obsessing over this? And what is it that I'm different about? What is it that's different about me? I'm going to tell you something that in my early 20s, Candace, man, I was like, I used to get freaking drunk, right? And end up fighting and insulting somebody, a family member, you know, or get into a fight with a family member and stuff like that, man. And the next day I would be so ashamed. And I knew before I would drink, and I think I mentioned this to Raul, that around 5 o'clock on Fridays, there would be this energy in the air, and I felt it, man. I felt it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop. Give me that two bush for 99 cents, man, on the way home from work, and then and you know, have the little paper sack, one right here, and then the other one drinking while I'm driving home, going, man, and then you get that 12-pack, 18-pack, and I already knew, man, I had that eerie feeling that something was gonna happen that night. You know what I mean? I already knew it, and I would sit back younger. I would go, man, why can't I be like my cousin? I had a cousin that he would drink, man, and drink and never get out of hand. He would always be real calm, collective. It was just everything was cool, right? Me, it was always bullshit when I drank. You know what I mean? And so in my early 20s, I always knew, man, that there was what was different about me. I didn't know though. You know what I mean? When was that for you?
Probably when I went off to college. So I was very.
What is it about freaking college for everybody, man?
Well, I went to Texas State, which was Southwest Texas back then. Which, if you know anything about it, it's the biggest party school in Texas.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
A great place for an addict. Bingo.
So I was the girl that partied from Wednesday until Sunday and was trying to recover Monday and Tuesday and never went to class.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was way too close to Austin and way too close to San Antonio, and I partied the entire time I was there. And my friends would get up and go to school, and I'd be like, "How are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that."
And you would ask them this on Sunday after the whole week went by, right?
They'd call me, "Are you dead?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, but I feel like I'm dying."
Uh-huh.
And I do it over and over again. And that lasted, I tell everybody that was probably the most expensive party I've ever had in my entire life.
Your
I went
college?
into debt. Yeah, I went into a lot of debt.
Really?
School's expensive.
Did you graduate?
No.
Okay.
No.
I graduated as an addict.
Really?
Did you see her
So did
face?
you drop
Did you see her
out or
face?
what? Did
I
you
did.
drop out?
Mhm.
Really? Well, then tell us about how all that started to unravel, man. I mean, you went there with the desire to learn something, to graduate. I'm sure you didn't go to college going, I'm gonna get tore up every day, right?
No.
You thought that I'm gonna get an education, I'm gonna be successful. Tell us about that. Give us that mindset.
Yeah, like I had the goals and the intentions of going and actually finishing, and I had the best of intentions going, but it was partying all the time. And finally my mom was like, "You've got to come home. Like you can't." And my grades, like I had no grades. I wasn't going at all. So my professor,
Yeah, no grades. You did not. You just not that you didn't have bad grades. You just didn't have no grades.
my professors didn't know who I was. Like when I went in there, like, "Who are you?"
What are you doing in here?
And I was like, "Well, I come every 2
I come here
weeks."
from time to time, man, just to check on you.
Yeah, so I put my tail between my legs and came back home.
So, but you skipped the whole spot. How you got there? I'm sure you went to class when you first showed up.
I
You
went
went to
to-
class maybe a week or two, maybe a couple
The first
days.
week.
1 week.
1 week.
You're kidding me.
No.
And then you started
And then I
partying.
started partying.
Okay. And then so that Sunday you got tore up, and then Monday was class. You didn't go to class.
I went to class that first week. So Monday through Friday I went. Friday was when all the parties kicked off for everybody. And I just stayed at the parties and really didn't leave. I was the last
Really?
one to leave.
Oh, wow.
I was the one that were like, "Okay, you probably need to go."
You
now."
need to go, man. Hey, you need to go. Yeah, get home, man.
Yeah.
So that went on, and then I guess that went on for months.
It went on for about 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. Well, 5.5 months is when I came home. So before the semester even ended,
Mm-hmm.
I was back home.
Okay, and then so what happens when you took a bus home? You took a taxi?
My mom
or what-
came and picked me up. So really, the factor that stopped it all is we went to a party one night, and I broke down and ended up getting really drunk and upset because one of my friends didn't want to date me, and I ended up for a while I was a cutter, and if you don't know what that is, it's cutting to release emotion that you feel inside to have the pain and the scars show on the outside. And I remember one night I cut up my legs, and I was so drunk that I walked out into the lobby, and all my friends saw me, and I scarred them for life. And it was like I couldn't come back from that with them, and called my mom and was like, I can't handle it. I can't hang.
Mm-hmm. And that's when she came to pick you up.
Yeah.
You were done.
I was done.
And were you done, or was your mom done? She said, "Come on, you need to come home."
I think I needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that party, that part of my life to end. And I didn't know that I was an addict then. I thought it was normal to drink until you basically had alcohol
Oh,
poisoning.
sure. Yeah.
And that was my intent all the time. Now looking back, I can look and see, okay, I was an addict even back then because I didn't know how to stop.
Well, can I ask you, can we back up? I mean, I'm sure this didn't just start in college, right? I mean, did you have some other, was there anything else before you went to college? Or maybe what? Okay. So in high school, how was high school and junior high and all that stuff?
I was a really good kid in middle school and high school.
So what happened?
I dabbled with a little bit of, drugs with like parties and stuff like that.
In high school?
But
okay.
My mom held such a tight rein over me in high school that I went buck wild.
Is your mom really possessive?
Yeah.
She was like really controlling, possessive. What about your dad?
My dad died when I was 6.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay.
Oh.
And that's, a lot of where the relationship issues that I came into. My dad was an addict and he left when I was 4. So I had huge abandonment issues.
Who told you your dad was an addict? Your mom? Or
stories from everybody.
Okay, right.
My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, pretty much everybody. He had a hard time and committed suicide when I was 6.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Really am. I didn't know that. I didn't know that part of your story. I could imagine, man, that that dealing with that kind of stuff, do you think that had any effect on you as a teenager and junior high, whatever those years are? Well, I mean, not having your dad or like we had a guest one time saying, he blamed God that all these things are happening to him. Why me, man? Why did you take my dad away? You know what I mean? It had one guest expressing that, saying that that's what he thought. It's like, man, why are you doing this to me, man? What did I do wrong?
Well, I carried a lot of guilt as a child that I was the reason why my dad left, and then I was the reason why my dad killed himself. And so I carried a lot of that guilt up until middle school and high school, where I thought that I was the reason that my dad didn't want to live anymore. He didn't want to have.
What made you think that?
So when he left, he had another family that he went to be with, and he married this woman and adopted her children that were around the same ages as my sister and I. And he had that family with him, and he chose that family over the family with us. And so I knew from then on that there had to have been something that was wrong with me.
Wow.
That must be hard to do. That must be hard, Candace. I could imagine. I'd be very hurt if my dad would have left us and went off to another family. And then that wasn't his kids. That he adopted the lady's kids. And could I say, I mean, would I be right to say that he abandoned y'all?
Absolutely.
And he went and went with this lady and adopted her kids, and that must be hard to deal with, man.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. It embeds in you that there's something wrong with you, that your dad, chose to find another family and be with them instead of you.
My dad had a relationship with another woman that I was talking to my trainer Maggie about when she was here. That when my dad had cancer, his wife or his lover that he had when he was with my mom that caused a lot of friction, a lot of their problems. She came back into his life, and then I don't remember if he had got diagnosed with cancer or she came first. I don't know. All I know is that when she came back, I was forced to not accept her, but I was going to be civil and say hello and how you doing and blah blah blah. I did tell my mom. I told her, Mom, hey, listen, I this such is at my dad's house, and I just want to let you know that I'm not going to have a relationship with her. We're not friends, but I'm going to be civil to her for my dad. I need to do this, Mom. I said, for my dad. And I was disappointed in my father. You know what I mean? I was disappointed and I was hurt because this lady caused so much pain for us. So I could imagine, man, I can relate to that. It must be really hard to deal with. Would you say that some of that feelings that you had, did you ever, let me ask you this, did you ever want to hide that? Or did you ever, at the times that you were drinking, smoking, whatever drugs you were doing, did you ever think about, because I would sometimes think about things that would happen with my dad, and I would drink or do some kind of a drug, man, to cover it up, to feel, I wouldn't feel that pain.
Mask the pain.
Yeah. I remember people going, yeah, you mask the pain. I was like, it's a bunch of bullshit. But that was back then. But now I could relate to that. Tell me about that.
Yeah,
Is
I
there?
pretty much had a mantra. I describe
Don't be
it
using
as,
no big words with me, girl. Talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old.
I describe it as like drums that play in my head that play not good enough. And just continue. It's on repeat. Not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. And that's what I would play and use it as an excuse to be able to use. I'm not good enough, so I'm going to continue to use. I'm not good enough, so I'm not going to apply myself in this aspect of my life, and I'm going to continue to be a fuck up.
I see. That's interesting. So okay, so your father was with his family, and then something went wrong. He took his own life. What year or how old were you at that time?
I was 6.
You were little. That's right.
Yeah.
You just said that earlier. Man, can you think back what you thought of when you were 6 and that happened? What were you? I mean, do you remember what you were thinking at that time? Or were you
I
too
remember
little?
I tried to go to school. So, my dad hadn't been in my life for such a long time. And that's one thing that I wanted to say is that there was a time in my life that I didn't know another half of my family. I didn't know a side of myself that was ever there because I didn't know my dad. And that's a big part of who you are is your family. And, I don't even know what I was about to say.
Max asking you a question. He said, "Do you think your dad felt guilty?"
I know now that my dad felt guilty. I didn't know until I became an addict, and actually learned what that felt like. That for sure, my dad felt very guilty. I like to think, or not like to think, but I think that that's part of the reason why he couldn't live with himself anymore is that he just couldn't see, all the pain that he had caused.
So at what point in your life did you realize that you had an issue as far as addiction wise?
So I got married and my marriage wasn't what I thought it was going to be. My husband ended up having an affair. I found out 2 days after my second son was born.
Oh, shit.
So I had a whole array of emotions, a bunch of emotions going on. And not only do I have this baby that I'm trying to take care of, and my kids were 18 months apart. So I had another baby that was only a year and a half. And I found out that my husband was cheating and my whole world crashed. I never wanted to have a divorce. I never wanted to have my children go through what I went through. And that's when my addiction pretty much started. I started into relationships that were not good, that I felt like I needed to save men from the life that my dad had created for himself. And so I chose the wrong men after my husband. And the first relationship that I got into was a relationship with a man that had an addiction to pain pills. And I pretty much was off to the races with him as soon as that started. Because once my marriage was over, I refused to let another relationship end, no matter where it took me.
Throughout your marriage, were you clean? You were. So you didn't start. Oh, so you partied through college. You got married and you were clean and you got a divorce and then you found pain pills. Okay.
Yeah, something to mask the pain that I was feeling from my marriage being over and the failure that I felt from my marriage being over. It was something that covered up that pain that I didn't have to not only not feel the pain, but I didn't have to feel anything anymore.
Right.
Which was huge for me. I had never found anything that made me feel nothing. And that's what I became addicted to, is something that would make me not feel.
I see. So, okay. So let's see, we talked about, within this time. So what would your mom, what did your mom go through when your dad left? Did she have to do, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have one sister.
One sister. That's it. Just y'all two. Okay. So your mom, when your dad left, did she have to, you were 6. Okay. You were little, and your sister's older or younger?
Older.
Older. So did she, when your dad left, did your mom have to, she had to take over all the responsibilities of the home? That must have been hard for her.
Yeah, bless my mom's heart. She was a trooper. She went to school and became a nurse. And my grandparents raised me and my sister pretty much while my mom was in nursing school. And my mom became both parents for me and my sister. She pulled up her bootstraps and did what she could. And in the beginning, it was very healthy for me to have my mom do everything. But then in the end, she didn't live a life. She had no life.
Really?
Her life was me and my sister. And that got held against us.
What do you mean?
Once we got older, it was
because of y'all. I had no love, you two little bitches.
Yeah, and she's wild, bless her heart. She's wilding out right now, but
she's what?
Wilding out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She went and got the hairdo and got the nails did, and she's out about.
Well, she's living the addict life now. So.
What do you mean? She's
She is now dabbling in addiction herself.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Really? But she's a nurse. Mm-hmm. Is she, but I mean, is she working?
No.
She's not.
She's retired.
Oh, she's retired,
mm-hmm.
and she's an addict.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, has she? I mean, this show isn't about her, but has she accepted that she's an addict? I mean, does she know she's an addict?
I don't think so.
No. That must be tough for you to see. It must be a little tough for you to deal with.
It's tough, and it's taught me grace. To give someone grace and to allow someone to be where they are. And just not take that on as something that I have to fix for her.
So but how can you, let me ask you this. So you don't sit back and go, Mom, you really shouldn't be doing that, man.
So, for a long time, I was just letting her be where she was. And it wasn't until, she started asking me questions about, could I get her medications and things like that, within the last month, I've put a boundary and we have no contact.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's kind of I'll be honest with you. With my mom, she's not an addict, but she, I had to set boundaries with my mom. I love my mom dearly, man, but I can't be around her too long. You know what I mean? Things happen. I get these feelings, these anxiety, and all this stuff that my mom brings out in me. And I mean, I don't know if y'all saw. I don't know if we keep a little tighter tabs on each other on Facebook, but for the last 6 months or maybe whatever, did you see me and my mom posting a lot of, me with my mom a lot?
Not recently,
but before. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we were everywhere doing all kinds of things together. And
she was staying at the house and all
that. Yeah. You come to the apartment and all that. And then she got mad because I charged her rent. And then I'm joking. Yeah. That's a joke. No, I just, certain things happened, man. And some things were said. And then I said, you know what, man, I think it's best that we, put some, a little distance between us, and I'm going to love her from a distance. I'm still love her. I love my mom dearly, but I just can't be around her. And I think you've heard me share this before. I think in the meetings, again, and nothing changes in my love for my mom. Doesn't change. I just have to treat her and our relationship a little different, because I got to take care of me. You know what I mean? My mind has to be right. My mind has to be good. And Raul and I were just talking earlier, and that there's I'm going through some changes in my life right now, actually. With some friends and family. So, but anyway, this isn't about me, Candace. Tell us, I know that you talked about, we touched on that you think that your life started to spiral downwards at that high school. I mean, at the college level when you went to college. But was there any feelings of that? I mean, was there anything that would have before that you said that you would say to yourself, "Damn, what's wrong with me? Why do I obsess over this food? Why would I obsess over that? Why would I obsess over this?" Before that, no, nothing.
I really didn't.
No,
I really didn't. No. Okay. It wasn't until I started doing the pain pills and I was a medical assistant and was working as at a really nice doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I started calling in my own prescriptions that I was like, maybe.
So tell us about that. How did that start? Tell us about how that's interesting. How did you land that job to begin with?
I went to nursing school
You went to nursing school.
Mhm.
So wait a minute. Earlier you said that you dropped out from
I
college.
did. So I've gone to college quite a few times and have never graduated.
Okay, well, tell us about that. How did you obviously got some kind of degree, right?
No,
No.
I do not. I have a degree in not getting a degree.
Okay. Well, then, okay. All right. Well, okay. So tell us more.
She said, I got a doctorate in that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got-
Doctorate in
I
health
know, that's
to
right.
graduate.
Tell us more. Tell me how to do that.
It's very expensive.
Go for it.
That's not the
So
route you
tell
wanna
us
go.
about that, man. Yeah.
So it all goes back to me not feeling like I was good enough, and so I would get the great idea of going to school, and I wanted to be something great, and then I would self-sabotage every single time I went to school. I would stop going to school, or I would stop studying, or I would stop paying attention and would focus on. There was always something that pulled my focus away from school, and it was always a relationship.
Is it because
What do you mean relationship? Like a relationship? So the first in college was drugs and alcohol, I think, or you said alcohol. Now, the second time around that you tried to go to school, it was a relationship, like a romantic relationship, not a relationship with drugs, with food, or whatever, right?
Yeah, so I'd
Okay.
get obsessed with whoever I was dating, and that I would make them my entire life.
Your entire life would revolve around them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Explain it to us.
So it would be, whatever their favorite foods was all I would eat. It would be whatever they like to do is the only thing that I would like to do. The type of music that they listen to would become my favorite type of music.
But isn't that normal?
No.
I think
to
it
that
is.
extent.
I know most women that turn into the. I know a lot of women that I see them with their significant other. They start like, say, if they're car guys, these bitches start liking. Sorry, beep. Yeah, they would start. They would start. No. Tell me. Don't tell me. And we've got an audience member over here that we leave unknown. But tell me if you've ever seen this. I mean, I'm sure y'all have lived a little bit. Y'all have seen relationships. I've seen women, guys that are car guys, that they get into a relationship with these women. They have no interest, and I've known these two for a long time. These women have no interest in cars, and they meet these guys that are car guys. All of a sudden, they got the car tattoo. They get the Harley Davidson with the guy who's a Harley guy, and then they start wearing the whatever. I see that happening, and then I've seen that with guys start crocheting. When they no, that's bullshit, but but I've seen that happen before. So to me, it's kind of normal. So, but tell me about yours. Yeah, we think about something else.
She's talking about extreme.
Okay,
like everything you like to do.
All right,
Yeah.
well, tell us.
Like I would completely lose myself.
Really? You would kind of absorb this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I would make my relationships and whoever I was dating my drug at that time. It's all I would want to use. It was all I wanted to see. It was all I wanted to spend my time with. Everybody else would go out the window to whoever I was dating.
Would you say you needed that to feel secure?
I needed that to feel worth. So since my dad was gone and I never got
Man,
that love
that's
from my
interesting.
father,
Yeah.
so Oprah says
Oprah.
that when you don't
Steve
have,
Harvey.
when you don't have the love from the opposite sex, that's what the opposite sex parent is what you always crave. And so I would always try to find my worth and my identity in anyone that I loved, because that's what I needed to find my worth in. Because my dad never showed me that love. I was always chasing that love.
Okay. So like, is that what, I mean, I don't know how they say when people say they have daddy issues.
Oh yeah, that's
Is that
huge.
what it is?
Is that what they're talking? Is that what they're talking about?
I'm the poster child for daddy issues.
Candace, you're crazy.
Hey,
I don't think that's what they're talking about, though.
I
Man.
don't know, bro.
I don't either.
I'm not. I've been missing Oprah for a few. I don't catch every episode.
Well, maybe you're probably
Is it still
right.
on?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's got her own
Oprah
channel
died.
now. No, don't say Oprah didn't die.
Hey,
Starting a rumor.
Eloy said he went to college one time. He went into the front door, drank some water, and went out the back door.
Yeah, believe it. I'm a community college. Yeah.
Max
BJ,
said
Eloy.
he's an extreme person in relationships.
What's up,
as well.
Tiffany? I want to say hello to Tiffany, man. Tiffany, thank you for joining us. We were talking one time about at a function. Tiffany, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're with us. Mac is here. Mac Attack. my man. And Cindy Gomez, thank you for joining. She said she drove by the shop. She's stalking us. She's stalking us. That's all right, man. We need a good stalker. Tiffany and Eloy. My man Eloy, we're gonna start Fajita Fridays, man.
Shit.
Woo! Fajita Fridays in the house, man. It's gonna be happening here pretty soon. Candace, you coming or what?
Sure.
You coming? Oh, what you? Our audience member. Just give me a
Hey,
high five over there. Yeah.
Tiffany says she has that shirt.
Which one? Mine?
Yeah.
The taco one? We gotta take a selfie together, girl. All right, Tiffany. So look, so that we ended up on the daddy issues, man. I don't know, man. So are you saying? So you're saying that because you didn't you lacked that love and attention and affection from your dad, that you think you wanted to pull that from the men and the relationships that you were with?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Really?
And
And
it makes sense.
does it?
It makes sense to me.
I don't know. Maybe because I've never experienced it.
I
man.
never
Maybe
had
it's-
daddy issues,
No?
so I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
And
Yeah.
I had sugar mama issues.
Yeah.
What at least I had. Don't watch this, baby. Don't watch this sugar mama issues.
You're gonna be locked out.
I know. Good thing I got an apartment I can go to. So okay, yeah. So you say you think did you get that not diagnosed, but did somebody tell you that? Did you see a therapist that told you that maybe this is probably what was going on, or did you self-diagnose yourself or go, well, maybe this is what's going on, or because you're kicking back watching Oprah one day, you're like, that's what's wrong with me?
You know, it's a little bit of all of those.
Did you ever have therapy? I have to
Yeah,
ask. You
I've been
have.
in a lot of therapy.
Really?
Once my dad died, my mom put us into therapy. Or actually, once when my dad left when I was 4, my mom put us into therapy, and I've been in therapy on and off my entire life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good, man. That's good to hear, because you know what? I think therapy is important.
yeah.
I've had some of my kids. In fact, my kids have been in therapy. Of course, look at me. And you know why. But I'm a freaking mess.
I think you're swell, Ricky.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. The birds. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. Therapy is awesome. In fact, I'm gonna start therapy too here pretty soon, as soon as I get a chance.
That's good.
They started therapy and they're like, "You're next, bro."
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, Dad, I think you should."
I go twice.
You have a
month,
therapist
man. Well,
too?
I have to. The VA makes me go.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah.
Man.
We
That's
go
really good
and
to
talk
hear.
talk feelings and shit.
Man, that's awesome,
Well,
man.
They do more talking, and I give them more yes and no's.
Yeah. Do you get
Yeah.
honest with them?
Uh,
No, really. Do all bullshit aside, do you get honest with your therapist?
Sometimes, man, because
Why
sometimes
wouldn't you get 100% honest?
because I'm fucking scared about what I think about.
Really?
it. Yeah, man. I don't know. I might be locked up in that private
They'd be like, hey, come here, man. Let me talk
Yeah.
to you over here.
Yeah. You
You're
gotta-
like, "Get out."
Yeah.
You're gonna be
What
wondering
about-
where I'm
yeah,
at.
No, yeah, no kidding. They'd be like, hey, man, where's Raul at? What about you, Candace? Do you get 100% honest with your therapist? Of course, you're not going to share with us what you share with them, but do you get 100% honest with them, man?
I try to.
No.
I try.
What do you
know
mean you try to? What does that mean?
Because the majority of my life, I haven't been honest with myself. So it's hard for me to get honest with other people when I haven't been honest with myself for a very long time.
You're still not honest with yourself?
I try to be.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, because with every relapse that I've had,
So you still haven't been honest with yourself? Is that what you're? Okay, you've been doing this thing for 9. You've been doing this thing for 9 years, and you're still not honest with it. Which part are you not honest with yourself about? That you're an addict?
my motives for a lot of the stuff that I do. Sometimes I'm not honest with
What do you
myself
mean?
about.
Can you elaborate on that?
So some of the reasons why I choose to do the things that I do and act the way that I act, sometimes I will fool myself into believing that what I'm doing is actual for positive motives and I'm actually doing the greater good when actually I'm being really, really selfish. And so I will choose to do that instead of doing the right thing.
Candace has called me out on some shit in the group.
I believe it.
And she makes me mad. She's made me mad 2 or 3 times before. And right after I share, and then she comes with her bullshit, right? And I'm like, no, bitch, okay, that's cool. Okay. And she's looking straight at me, man. And he was there too. He's been there before. And I'm like, that's cool, Candace. That's cool, man. All right. I don't remember how long we've been doing this thing together, but it's cool, you know. And then she'll be gone for a while, and then she showed up at our what do you call those Saturday things that we went to in the morning?
The book study.
The book study, man. There was a really good class that we were going, or a really good thing. I think it's still going, but I think it's now on Netflix or not
On
Netflix,
Zoom.
on
Yeah.
Zoom. What do you call it? It's on Netflix. Everything's on Netflix for me, man. I love Netflix.
You might have to get some help, man.
I need a lot of help. I need a lot of help. So, okay, so we went through the daddy issues, and you absorbing the guy, you're pulling his energy like kryptonite. Yeah. Did any of these relationships ever go, hey man, I mean, come on, chill, man, give me some room to breathe? Does anybody, they do?
Yes.
Do they really? We're getting a high five back in the back of the room from two people. Hey, the dog. Hey, your dog. Her dog's over there going like this too. Yeah, Scooby Doo. So yeah, they do. They're like, hey man, give me some room, man. I need to breathe. Really? So what is it you do? You just kind of like always around them and stuff, or what?
Yeah, I'm afraid to let them go because I still carry that mantra sometimes that I'm not good enough.
There's that word again.
Mantra.
It's
what
a
was
saying that I mantra. The
Mantra.
saying that I tell myself.
Okay.
That I'm not good enough, and that if I let people go, then they'll see that they're better off without me.
Say that again.
If I let people go and do what they want to do, then they'll see that they're better off without me.
Yeah. You're afraid. So you think, yeah.
We got to put that on the sound.
Yeah, I know, right? I know you have to record that. So you think, do you still think that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really? Even yet? So do you suffer from self-esteem issues? Do you have self-esteem issues?
Yes.
No? Yes or no?
Huge. That's where my addiction lies. That's one of my biggest character defects is my self-esteem. Yeah.
No.
So I want to ask a question. So you were working for this doctor and you started writing your prescriptions.
Oh yeah.
Did that ever come out? I mean,
oh yes, it came out.
And it came out, and I mean, I can just imagine how would you tell us a little bit?
Lead us into it.
So I was getting really high and was calling in pain medicine prescriptions and ended up calling in a pain medicine prescription to a pharmacy that does not deal with pain medicine prescriptions. It was actually a pediatric pharmacy, and ended up calling it into another pharmacy. And when I went to go and pick up the prescription, the DA was waiting for me at Walmart.
Oh shit.
So I was standing there waiting for my prescription, just, lollygagging around, wondering why they were taking so long. And all of a sudden somebody whispers in my ear, put your hands behind your back.
They whispered to you. Did they kind of like, they didn't go, hey, come outside. Got a little,
No, just put your hands behind your back.
Really? And what did you feel at that time?
I pissed my pants. No.
Literally, really?
No. But I felt like I was going to. I felt like I was going to.
It's warm inside.
Did it just get warm in here?
Did it just get warm in here?
But yeah, that was.
No, tell me what ran through your mind right there in that second when they said, put your hands behind your back. Were you high?
Yeah,
you were high.
My whole, I sobered up real quick when that happened, but my whole world fell apart right then and
right there and then.
Yeah, I turned into a puddle of.
Did you start crying?
Oh,
you start crying? Yeah. And was it a lady or a man that told you to?
It was a man.
It was a man, and he said, and you put your hands behind your back, and he cuffed you. You walked outside, and then?
And was put in the back of a patrol car.
And that was the first time you've ever got arrested for drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened after that? You went to jail. They what charges did they give you?
I got theft by fraud.
Theft by fraud. Okay.
Well,
so it was a felony.
Well, it's more on the lenient side, right? Because you could have got something more serious. Right?
Well, I could have if they would have found any drugs on me, then I could have gotten a lot more. But because I hadn't picked up the drugs yet, they didn't have anything else to put on me. So.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Mac is relating to your story in a lot of ways. He says that he felt he's the same with self-esteem. Oh, and then he said, "Oh shit, about you going to jail."
He says, "Me too."
Yeah.
No, he didn't say me too.
Yeah, Harris County is not fun.
No, man, you only get one sandwich and then one orange. The first night you're there.
Man,
yeah, and the sandwiches are moldy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I still when you're hungry, you still eat them. Shit.
You know, I think the one time I was there, man, almost a week, and it was just a week, and I didn't eat.
It's just a week.
Yeah.
You're
But that was the last time. The
most,
last time.
Raul, most people just go overnight. You're
Yeah.
like, I was just there a week.
But
That's normal.
how like normal people, they look after each other. Like if we go in, we're gonna have the old heads looking after us. and telling us different
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So the old Hispanic guys used to come and tell me in Spanish all the time. It's like, mijo, you need to eat. Hey, bro, you know, like, eat your food. Like, no, I don't want it. You're gonna make yourself sick. Eat your food. I was like,
They're trying to tell you to eat your food.
yeah.
That's crazy, man. So okay, so you go to jail. They give you your charges, and then you bail out. I'm sure, right? Your mom bails you out. Your
Yes.
mom comes to the rescue.
Mhm.
Yeah. You go. So they put you on. You go to court. They put you on probation.
I went to court. I got put on probation. I got 2 years.
2 years. What?
2 years probation.
Mm-hmm.
And did my probation, was doing the thing, and then about 6 months before my probation ended, I
Don't tell me.
yeah,
Don't tell me.
I started doing pain pills again.
Hijo de la chingada.
6 months.
6 months
Before
6
it
months
before it
was over.
ended, and then you what happened? You went in and pissed dirty.
So I pissed dirty once, and they made me start going to classes.
What do you mean classes?
Drug
To
rehabilitation classes.
okay.
And that's actually when I first started coming to NA was
Over there on
because the
35.
courts- Yeah, the
Yeah.
courts made me. The courts thought it was a good idea. It
Mhm.
was a good idea. I just
Mhm.
didn't think it was at that time. I didn't think I had a problem.
Yeah, you too.
But yeah, so they decided that I needed to come to NA, and I started doing that thing.
And that's where you met Ricky Cruz.
I did my whole life.
And that's right. It got better.
Yeah.
My whole life got better.
Yeah.
So what do you think, man? Do you remember? Do you remember? Can you think back? What do you remember about me? About when we met?
You were a mess.
Y'all have known each other for how long?
9 years.
9 years.
And your sobriety is about 10?
About 10. Yeah.
Oh,
I went.
shit.
Yeah. I went. Yeah. Do you remember? So what did you think whenever you first met me? Because you were very quiet at the time. You were very quiet. I was never quiet.
No, Ricky has never been quiet a day in his life.
I know.
Should know. Yeah.
Ricky has always voiced. You have always voiced your opinion about
Mhm.
everything,
Mhm.
and even if he is far left and far wrong, you're going to hear about it from Ricky.
Yeah.
I thought you were crazy.
I was a little nuts, man, at the time. I was really a little nuts. You know, I know that
You're
my
not
daughter.
anymore?
Not anymore, man. I've calmed down a lot. I blew up my daughter's car. I think a year right before my year. I was before I received a year, or maybe I was about a year and a half clean. I blew up Megan's car, and then some other stuff that I went in there and told. Actually, Megan is the one that went in there talking shit about me, about blowing up her car. And then some other stuff that they accused me of, that I was just flipping out from time to time. But I mellowed out. And was able to stay clean from then on. From that time on, I had relapsed 2 or 3 times before that, maybe 4. But about the time that Candace we met, that you came in with Jimmy, Jimmy and all the guys, right? All those people that we started getting clean with. I started to you know what? The what happened to me, man, I started getting my self-esteem back, man.
Yeah.
I did. Pretty quick. I started to love myself, man. I really, and some people even think too much that I started to love myself too much, man.
I like that. I like that about you.
I
bro.
do, man.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Hey, but I dig it. I love myself, man.
I'm glad you stopped painting the nails, though, brother.
Oh yeah, well, my toes. I still paint my toes.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't very professional to paint my nails with my clients out there, man. But I paint my toenails still. When I take off my shoes, and my daughters or some friends, for any reason they see them, they're like, yeah, they're black. It's rock and roll, man. Ozzy Osbourne. But yeah, I remember you were very quiet, man, and you had your struggles, and I remember going, oh, yeah, and then I wouldn't see you for a while, and then you'd come back, and then I wouldn't see you for a while, and then you'd come back, and then I wouldn't see you for a while, and you'd come back, but you kept fucking coming back, man, and you're still coming back, and that's what I respect about you. And I know this last time when you came in, I'm like, Candace, what's up? You know what I mean? And I got that smile, man, and everything. And I know that. I think I don't know about this. The time prior to this, I remember when you relapsed. You know, because it was a thing. You know, and and then you were gone for a while. And when you came back in, you know, this last time, a couple months, several months. How much time did you have before this last time?
I July 4th of 2020 was my clean date, and 14 months.
Okay, you had 14 months put together. Is that the longest? You've had more time than that, but put together before
No.
that. That's your longest?
14 months is my longest.
Wow.
I had never made
tell
it
us
to a
what
year before.
You've never made a year
Mhm.
before. What you mean in 9 years you've never put a year together? Which is, you know, what happened within that within those 14 months? What changed different than any other times?
You know, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot that I was missing in my recovery. You know, I stopped. The biggest thing for me is when I stopped going to meetings, or when I think that I have my recovery for myself and not for my higher power for one day.
So you're telling me, because look, Candace, I would see you when you came back this last time. You're regularly coming. You would come to the meetings. You were there every time I come. You were there or show up. You were always there. So would you start getting comfortable? You start getting complacent?
Oh yeah.
Is that your problem? You get complacent?
Mm-hmm.
You think that's where you're going wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know that, why do you do it?
I think that's a lot of people, though.
Is it?
I think it is.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. That could be. Yeah, I could see it, I guess. But again, if I'm going to ask you again, and I would like an answer. Even if it's the wrong answer, it's cool. We want to know. Our audience wants to know. Well, I mean, you know that if you get complacent, if you get too comfortable, you get too. I mean, in another sense, or for me, when I get too freaking cocky about that, I got this right, and with work, with food, everything else. I start kind of like chilling, and then I let a little go, and I let a little bit more go, and a little bit more for Santa Claus. What is it like that? You know the thing with the reindeer? Okay, so Cheech and Chong. So and then boom, you know what I mean? And there it is. We can't get complacent, man. Do you think that's something to do different?
Yeah, I think for me, it's when I started getting a little bit of time under my belt. Was when I was like, all right, I've got this.
I got this, man.
Yeah. I've put some time together, and some substantial time. So I've got this. And, it's when I thought that I had it that I lost it.
So what happened this time? What was different? What happened? Where do you think you went wrong this time? Where did you go to the left or right or whatever you want to say?
Surgery. And I started taking some pain medicine with my surgery, and I started tricking myself into believing that I was in pain when I wasn't, or exaggerating the pain to where it was an excuse to keep using. You know, medical things came up, and I would exaggerate it a little bit more, and doctors were willing to get me prescriptions, and I didn't see that I had a problem with the prescriptions because they were prescribed by a doctor, and for the most part, I was taking them as I was prescribed to take them. But my motives were wrong. It wasn't that I needed them for the
Were
pain.
you in close contact with your sponsor?
Yeah. I worked my steps, getting dirty.
You know, when I came back from when I came back early on in my recovery, I had an awful fall, man. My daughter still talk about it to this day. I mean, awful. What's the name of that park on Cullen?
Tom Bass.
Tom Bass, man.
Yeah.
That big dip. There's a big dip down there. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Well, we used to go fishing out there.
Okay, so there's a big thing, you know, a big thing like that on the walking trail. And we were riding a bike, man. Me and my daughters, we were all in bikes, and I went down, man, hauling ass, and a freaking squirrel went in front of me, man, and I lost track, man. My tire went like this, and dude, I went boom, 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 fell. Look, all this was scraped. My face was scraped, hit, big bumps all over, and scraped all down my legs, dude. I was I was hurt, bleeding from my mouth, I mean, I was just gushing blood. I'm not exaggerating.
When was this?
Let me see. I'm going on 11 years clean. I was probably about 6 months clean.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I get up, man, and my daughter was like, Dad, bad. And I get up, I'm like, oh man. And my main concern was my daughter because felt like I was going to lose conscience, right? And I grabbed the bike and I was like, I had just bought some brand new Ray-Bans, man. I was like, where are my glasses, man? I was like, they were like, get the glasses. I was like, where are my glasses? So I picked up I told girls, come on, man. I grabbed the bike and I threw them in the back of the truck. I don't know how the hell I did this. Anyway, I drove, and then I had to drive a stick. I was like, oh, 1, 2. And the girls were little. It was 10 years ago. I was living at my mom's house, man, you know. I get there and I remember that I was going to tough it, man. I was going to tough it. And I was like, man, I'm not going to go. I didn't have no money to go to the doctor, man, to the hospital or nothing, you know. I was broke still. And I remember when I finally, after about a week, I was like, man, I'm in so much pain, man. I went ahead and went to the doctor. But I'm going to tell you something, man. I was still with Eugene. Eugene was my sponsor, man. I told him, man, Eugene, one of the things that I love with these pain pills, these Allure sets, I loved them. And I was afraid, man. I was like, man, when I went, I remember being in the ER going, hey, man, I'm an addict. and they're like, okay, we're going to we're going to give you this, that. And they prescribed the Tylenol 3. I think it has codeine in it or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, they're badass, man. I was like, okay. I said, look, I'm an addict. And I called Eugene. I said, man, he goes, look, as long as you take them, go ahead, take them, but take them for your pain. And man, he says, call me. And he stayed in close contact with me. He was retired. You know, he had nothing better to do than to be with me. And, you know, I say this today, I'm going to tell you something. You know what I did, man? I did something bad early in my recovery. This is the first time I'm ever going to say it out in public, but I manipulated Eugene to be with me. I paid him. Even though I was broke, I paid him. I would give him money so he would be around me. You know, he was retired.
So you wouldn't use.
So I wouldn't use, yeah.
No shit.
When I came back to Pearland, I would say, hey, Eugene, come down. I'll fill your gas tank with. And every time I would make money at the shop when I was trying to produce, I would say, he goes, oh, Cat Daddy, I can't come. He was in Dickinson. That's how far Dickinson is. Yeah. I would say, well, come down here, man. I'll gas up your car. And then I would give him $50 or $75 or whatever. He knew every time he came, but I wanted him near me. Because I wanted him to save me. I wanted him to does that make, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they say you believe in something. I think Eugene was the person you believed in. That was kind of like your higher power.
I did. And what helped me, dude, because I needed him a lot, man. I needed him a lot. But I did it. I attracted him with the certain things, man, to help me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And anyway, he got me through that, man. And when I would take the Tylenol 3s, he would say, look, don't take it no more, man. It's every 4 hours. Every fucking fourth hour, he told me, don't take another one, man. He'd call me. He'd call me. He was on top of it, man. Till I went through the cycle of all these things. And then we went down to, ibuprofen 800? Mm-hmm. And then Tylenol, and then that was over with, man. I wouldn't have got through it without my sponsor, Candace. Yeah. I had to keep close contact with him. When I finished my cycle of pain, I had 4 pills left. We threw them away.
Yeah.
That's my recovery, man. You know what I mean? But I had to do the work. I had to depend on my sponsor. You know what I mean? And to me, that was the difference, because up to me, I would do the same fucking shit. I'd be looking for ways ways to get more, or what do they say? The ways to go, because we're addicts, man. We manipulate the system. We figure things to get by, right?
Candace, with this go around, what are you gonna do different?
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's a good answer. Good question.
Be honest with myself first and foremost, and pay attention to my motives for everything. You know, I don't ask myself enough questions about the motives that I have and what I do. And I kind of just fly off the cuff, and whatever I'm feeling in the moment is how I react. And I've got to rein that in and question myself at every turn, every decision I make needs to be questioned of the motives that I have for it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think me and Ricky are really strong in believing that relapse is part of recovery, because, you know, you learn from it. And, you know, like you say, you drift away from, you're complacent about things. So, you know, we hear that a lot from different guests. Mm-hmm. So it's when you said it, I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah.
There's definitely something there. Candace, man, I am very honored, man. That I know that in this morning you were like, no, man, and I felt a little whatever. Not that I was trying to convince you. I just thought it was a great idea to me. It's just like you said it earlier, man. You hit the nail on the head. My life has been an open book, man, from the very fucking beginning. You know what I mean? This is what you get from me, man. I don't pull any punches. I don't hide anything. I just not Ernesto. I keep saying Ernesto. Raul and I had an intimate conversation earlier, and I let him into some things that are going on in my heart, man. That's the kind of relationship I think Raul and I have. I almost broke down on some shit earlier, but I don't have too many friends today. You know what I mean? But the 5 or 6 that I can count on one hand, man, they're high value. Some people that I hold dearly in my life today. And I'm going to tell you something else, man. I am very lucky that I joined we don't ever bring this God and politics and religion and all that into the program, but I did join a life group, man, and then a Bible study group on Tuesday nights. And yesterday I was almost thinking about several reasons not to go. And just like they say, man, when I went, after I got there, we talked about certain things. I put some stuff out there that I felt good about, and hopefully these guys say they're going to pray about, with me about it. And hey, man, I don't know if God is true or not, man, but if he's not, like they say, there's a saying that they say, at the very least, man, I ran my life, a certain way after I died, knowing that he did exist or whatever. There's a saying like that. I don't know exactly how it goes, but I think you understand what I'm saying. But Candace, man, you coming up and coming in, man, and showing up, man, it shows that to me, it tells me that, you're really working your recovery, man. And I'm really glad that I'm doing this thing with you, man. I'm very proud of you, man. And I really, man, I want to see you succeed. Every time I see you, you remind me of me coming in the very beginning, and I'm going to tell you something else, man, that one thing about us addicts, man, when I think about us addicts, sometimes I look at when I look at any addict that, especially ones that I've been getting clean with that have been part of my journey, I tell myself, man, would you ever relapse and will I ever lose you and not ever see you again? You know what I mean? Because this disease has taken a lot of us, man, a lot of us. And we're great people, man. We just make fucking bad choices. And a lot of us are living with pain. We're living with things that other people that's why all this stuff that people say, hey, man, be kind to people, man. You don't know what they're going through. Sometimes, all that stuff that I used to think was corny. You know what I mean? It's all true, man. It is. Yeah. It is all true.
And I think, we're not the only ones that deal with pain. We just don't know how to deal with pain. We don't know how to deal with life on life's terms. I don't know how to deal with life on life's terms. And, life happens to everybody. And I just have to learn to be able to accept life for what it is and to learn the lessons that, my higher power brings to me every day.
Right on. That's great. So give us before we close up the hour, man, is that give our audience or our friends a little advice or a little something that you recommend for them to do if they're doing this thing. Is for an example is in our recovery we say change people, places, and things. Don't take shit for granted. Love and forgive. And what is some recommendation that you would give our audience members or anybody in recovery?
Definitely to check your motives for what you do. Question yourself for every decision that you're making and every turn. Look at what you're doing and how you're doing it, and question what you're doing to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and it's not for selfish reasons.
Right on. All right,
you got this. You got this, Candace. Keep don't quit. Keep coming back.
We want to follow up with you, man.
Yeah,
we want you to come back, man. We would like for you to come back and maybe in another month or two or something like that. We'll follow up, man, because I know you're gonna do this thing, and I have you've been doing this for a while, Candace, and I know you're gonna be I think now with this 14-month, I'm gonna see a little bit longer time, man.
Definitely.
And I know that you're ever since you came into the program, I know that you've talked a lot of shit, but you're deep inside. You're a sweet person, and even on the outside, you've been really, really sweet to me and everything. And I'm very honored to be your friend and doing this thing with you, man. And I'm happy that you're here. Okay,
that's what's up.
Love you.
That's what's up.
All right. With that, man, I'll turn it over to Raul, man. So you can close us up, Raul.
Hey, with that, you guys be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. As always, Ricky.
Right on, right on. Viva Fajita Friday, says Eloy. I gotta turn that in. We gotta talk about that, Fajito. Eloy, hey, the lie is dead, Raul.
The lie
why?
is dead.
Why, Candace? Because we do recover, right? We do recover.
We do recover.
All right.
Fucking Fajita Friday.
Fucking Fajita Friday. We're gonna do this thing, man. It's gonna be fucking fabulous. It's gonna be badass. Y'all coming, man, too. I might have a fucking